Let's talk about a word that can really feel like a bit of a judgment: average. For so long, we've been taught to see it as, well, as a failure, right? But what if it's not? What if being average is actually a kind of hidden strength? Well, in this explainer, we're going to flip that whole idea on its head.
Have you ever felt like this? Just kind of lost in the crowd. That feeling of just blending in, being one of many faces, almost invisible. It's a feeling I think so many of us can relate to, especially from when we were growing up.
And yeah, that whole experience so often starts right there in the classroom. Just think back to school for a second. It had its own clear, unspoken social structure, didn't it? It always felt like you had to be either exceptional or a total troublemaker. And if you weren't either of those, you were just stuck in the invisible middle.
Wow, this quote, it's pretty powerful, isn't it? It just perfectly captures that feeling of being completely unnoticed. You're not causing any problems, but you're not the star student either. You're just there, a quiet presence in a really busy room. And this pretty much shows the two extremes perfectly, right? On one side, you've got the first benchers, the high achievers, always with their hands up, eager to answer. And then, on the other side, you've got the last benchers, the rebels, making their presence known in, well, other ways. But what about everyone else? All the kids who weren't top of the class and weren't causing trouble? Yep, that's the invisible middle.
And this feeling, it totally carries over into social situations too. You know the drill. You're in a group, the conversation's flowing all around you, and you're just waiting for a topic you feel confident about. But then, even when it finally comes up, that little voice of doubt just holds you back. So what do? You just offer a small smile and stay quiet.
And this brings us to a really crucial point, one we're going to keep coming back to. Despite all those feelings of being invisible, all that self-doubt, here's the truth. Being average is actually genuinely okay. So if the classroom wasn't enough pressure, right, that feeling often followed us right home. So now, let's take a look at how this whole dynamic plays out within the family, where, let's be honest, the comparisons can feel even more personal. Okay, so this table lays out a pretty common dilemma. Maybe you can relate. You've got the high-achieving sibling, the one who's obviously destined for a top university. Then maybe there's the athletic sibling, always bringing home medals and trophies. And then there's you, right in the middle. You're not the worst, but you're not the best. Just average marks, which leads to an average college. And even here, when you're facing these direct, and let's face it, sometimes painful comparisons, the message is still true. It is okay. Your path is your own. It doesn't have to look like anyone else's, not even your siblings. So, what happens when you aren't defined by one single standout talent? Well, you start searching, right? And this next phase is all about that search, trying to find that one big goal when life feels more like just a collection of temporary interests.
Does this little journey look at all familiar? You're bouncing from one passion to the next. For 6 months, you're going to be a bodybuilder. Then for the next 6, a story writer. Oh wait, now you're aiming for a government job. Nope, scratch that, IT professional. It might feel like you're just aimlessly drifting. But if you look closer, you're not drifting. You're exploring.
Okay, so this is the big turning point. This is huge. We've talked about the struggles, right? The feelings of being invisible, the confusion. But now we're going to completely flip the script and uncover what I like to think of as the hidden superpower of being average. And it all starts with this question, a question that really changes everything. It's time we challenge the definition we've just been handed our whole lives. So what if average doesn't actually mean what we all think it means? And here is the new definition. This is the crucial reframe. It is time to redefine average. It is not about being mediocre. It's about being versatile. It's about having the freedom to explore literally anything and the ability to become competent at pretty much everything. Think of it as a sign of breadth, not a lack of depth. This insight is just so powerful, isn't it? The challenge isn't that you lack ability, it's that you have ability in so many different areas. You're not a specialist, you're a generalist. And trust me, that is a huge asset. Just look at this list for a second. These are not weaknesses, these are straight up strengths. You can study pretty well, you can play sports pretty well, you can explore any new thing that catches your eye, you can perform averagely in everything, which really just means you become a multitasking personality, a jack of all trades. There's almost nothing you won't have tried. You've built a life that's rich with varied experiences, and that, my friends, is the absolute opposite of mediocre. All right, so if being average is our starting point, and it's a good one, a solid, versatile starting point, the question is, where do we go from here? Well, this is all about using that amazing foundation to build something truly remarkable. Ultimately, it all just comes down to your mindset, your perspective. The facts of your life, they don't change, but how you interpret them, that makes all the difference in the world. Seeing your average skills as a launch pad instead of a cage, well, that's the key that unlocks everything.
And this right here, this is the formula for growth. It's so simple, but it is incredibly powerful. You start right where you are, at average. Then you add the most important ingredient there is, consistent effort. That effort is what transforms average into above average. And then, with just a little more focus, a little more push, you can turn above average into something truly extraordinary.
And you have to remember this. The world might be totally fine leaving you in the average box. Honestly, no one's going to push you but you. You are the one who has to decide that your starting point is not your final destination. You have to be the one to raise your own bar. Look, this journey, it isn't always going to be easy. You will face setbacks. You're going to try things and not be a superstar overnight. That's what this quote calls finite disappointment. But you absolutely cannot let that extinguish your infinite hope, that deep down belief that with consistent effort you can grow far beyond where you are right now.
So what do you say we change the conversation? It's time. It's time to stop treating average like it's a dirty word. It's the most common human experience there is. It's the starting line for the vast majority of us, and there is absolutely nothing wrong with that. So let's just say it one last time and really let this sink in. Being average is okay. In fact, it's more than okay. It is normal, it is valid, and it is a foundation just packed with potential. So embrace it, own it.
And so, I'll leave you with this question to think about. That thing you do, the one you do pretty well but not perfectly? That hobby you're competent at, but you're not exactly an expert in? What if you just picked one of those average skills and decided to add a little bit of consistent effort? Just think, where could that take you?